So starting on the back, if you want, you can use a blanket for a pillow for the back of your head, but keep it kind of thin. It's just nice in yin classes and in more restorative type classes to treat yourself. So a blanket under the head is nice. And constructive rest is just lying down with your feet to the floor, knees bent, the feet wider than your own hips. And you can have your feet as wide as your mat if you would like, and let the knees knock in. And this is a perfect place to be. If you wanted to, you could also put your feet on blocks. See what that feels like, just as another option. You might like that sensation. You might not so much. So maybe try it and see if it's for you. And if not, just put your feet on the floor. Yeah, letting in. Good. Great. Hi, Diana and Martha Scott's friend. Cool. So lying down, feet wider than your hips, knees can be touching as they knock in, or they can just be kind of internally rotated there. And then place your hands somewhere on yourself. Maybe it's both hands to the low belly. Maybe it's one hand to your heart. Maybe somewhere in between, like near your rib cage. Just let the hands land wherever they fall naturally, and close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths just to arrive here. Letting go of the day that you've been in so far. Allowing yourself to ease into this time you've carved out for yourself. You can slide the back of your neck a little bit longer by lifting your chin slightly away from the chest. And wherever your hands are on the body, feel the weight of them, feel the temperature of them, and then feel what's going on underneath them. It's your body. There's things happening in there. There's little pulsing, little quivers. There's the steady wave of your breath. Whatever it is that's happening there underneath your palms, not trying to make anything happen, just following what naturally is there. Slow, easy breaths in and out of your nose. Relaxing the bones heavy. You can let your lips slightly part just to further unclench your jaw. Continue breathing in and out of the nose. Unwrinkle the brow. Just let your face be expressionless. And then from wherever you are, open your mouth and exhale your breath from where it's at to complete emptiness. Hold your breath at empty. And together, slowly inhale from the base of your pelvis, up through the abdomen, up through the rib cage, up through the collarbones, and hold your breath at the top. Open up and exhale and release, returning the breath back down beneath the navel. And then start over. Seal your lips and inhale. Inhaling like you're filling up a pitcher of air down into the low belly, filling you all the way up to the brim at the base of your throat. Hold your breath there. Open up and exhale and empty yourself again. And then one last time, let this be the deepest breath you've taken yet today. Filling up all the way to your full capacity. Hold at the top, retain your breath. Keep your breath held and relax the face. Quick sip of air through your mouth. 2 more, it gets so full. Open up, exhale, maybe make some noise and let it go. Seal your lips, let the breath come in and out naturally again. Blinking the eyes open. Good. Separate your knees and bring your feet in a little bit closer. If your feet are on blocks, you can move them out of the way so that your feet are now on the floor. And then take your right leg up, just an easy inversion here, right leg up, and interlace your hands behind the right thigh. Yeah, and just not trying to get a super hamstring stretch here or anything. It will be there, but it's not the deepest one you've ever done. And just a little movement, flex and point your toes. You can roll out the ankle. You can keep your knee a little bit bent. You just have your right heel up in the air somewhere directly above your right hip. Circle your foot the other way. And then flex your foot over your left thigh, finding this like half square position in yin or a figure 4 shape in hatha yoga. And then you're going to lift your foot up, left foot up, and weave your arms in between. So it's like a pigeon on your back. You can relax your left ankle completely and use the strength of your arms to pull the left thigh in towards you, but it's an easy strength. It's not like you're pulling and tugging and your butt lifts up in the air. There's just this resistance of the arms trying to pull their left thigh in. But then at the same time, perhaps with the use of your right elbow, you wrap your own right hip out. So as the left leg draws closer to you, you try to press the right hip away from you so that nothing actually touches your torso. Yeah. And then feel your tailbone get longer on the mat, especially if you feel like your butt is kind of floating. Drop it down. Try to create more space in the low back, dropping the tailbone forward towards the bottom of your mat and feeling this space from shoulder to hip to hip. And see if there's tension in anywhere that you don't need it. So right now, there's effort in your arms. Your arms are doing the work for your legs so that your legs don't have to. So maybe there's some gripping going on in your hip flexor in the left side or in the quad muscle. We can give it even just a little shake, a wiggle, and see if that helps relax it. It's kind of like finding a suspension bridge where your arms are holding your left leg, pulling it in, wrapping your right hip out, but without even trying. It just occurs naturally because of the structure that you've built. Just about another minute here. So scanning yourself again, where can you let go? Where can you relax in your legs, in your back body, in your face, in your glutes? Last 3 breaths. One more inhale. And on your exhale, gently release your left foot down to the floor. Let your hands rest again somewhere on your body and cross your right leg over your left, just like an easy cross-legged position. And we're going to come into a twist from here with the knees going to the left. And if you know you like props for that, you can uncross your legs and roll over to grab them. If they're easily nearby, take a bolster towards your left side or take your blocks towards your left side. And then as you're ready, heel toe your left foot over to the right edge of your mat. And then scoop your hips up over to the right edge of your mat. Your knees will already start dropping to the left, and then go for it. Drop the knees to the left. You can keep your legs crossed this much, or you can separate them and just put your right knee up on something. You can stack your knees one on top of the other. I know there's one person with us who is pregnant. So for you, if you would like, I'll show you from this position, turning facing you. You can stack your knees on your side and put your bolster or pillow just in between your legs like this. And you can either stay looking in the same direction as your twist, or you can open up the arms and look at the ceiling or look over your right hand. So going back the same way you guys are, your knees are to the left, but your twist is to the right. So you're looking over the right shoulder, you're looking up to the ceiling, or if you want, you can just look in the same direction as your knees. Your left hand might hold your knees down, your right knee. It might just open up. You can decide how high towards your shoulder or lower down you want your knee. I'm just going to take a look at you. Looks great. Yeah, and as you're there now, again, just giving over completely into the structure that you've built. So your body is in the position it needs to be. You don't have to do anything. Luckily, in this pose, we're not efforting much anywhere. So you can relax through the fingers and the toes and through your entire body. If you like to visualize your breath work, in a twist especially, it's nice to feel the breath coming in and out of your body like a cyclone. So imagine that the next inhale comes like cold air rushing in through your nose and down your throat, spiraling through your whole body, through your twist. And then the exhale is heat, it's warm air spiraling up and out. Cool air curls in, and the warm air spins out. Ten breaths. One more inhale. And exhale. Slowly to come out of it, roll from your pelvis onto your back, hugging your knee, your right knee into your chest and planting your left foot back down. And then shift your hips back into the middle of your mat. Give your right knee and shin a nice squeeze. And then drop your right foot down to the floor and stretch out both legs into a V. Just for a moment, take your arms wide into a V over your head and be an X shape on the floor. One more breath. And then again, moving so slowly in between each pose. Hands back down by your sides, feet back down to the floor, hips distance. And take your left leg up into the air, just kind of casually. Interlace your hands behind your left thigh. Flex and point your left toes. You can slowly move around the ankle, waking up the foot, keeping your knee a little bent so the heel hovers over the hip. Already trying to relax the shoulder bones and lengthen the tail. Go the other way with the ankle. And then take your left foot over to your right thigh. Find that figure 4 shape. Pick your right foot up, weave your arm in between your leg and around, so both hands now are holding your right hamstring. And find this push and pull of drawing your right thigh bone closer to you, but wrapping your left hip away from you. Maybe your left elbow is touching it. It's okay if you're not. You can do this without the arms at all, without your left arm. You can almost like you're pressing your own left knee forward. You're just creating space in your left side waist and your left hip. So as the right hip attempts to get shorter, your left hip attempts to get longer. But because you're doing both, they both stay pretty neutral. And then you drop the tailbone, you drop your seat, you're lengthening the low back space, relaxing the muscles in the legs, relaxing the ankle bones, just letting really the hands and the fingers do most of the work so that the majority of your arms don't even have to. It's just the nature of where the hands are gripping that holds your legs in place like a suspension bridge. And then elongate your breathing. Focusing just on making the exhales longer than the breath in. Where can you let go that you don't need? Maybe in the shoulders and the face and the jaw and the glutes. And breaths. Two more inhales and extra long exhales. One more breath in and out. Slowly release your right foot to the floor and cross your left thigh over your right. Relax the hands to the body. Take whatever props you want for your knees over to the right edge of your mat, to the right side of your mat. Heel toe your right foot over to the left, and then physically pick your own pelvis up and drop it over to the left. And then cross your knees over to the right, either keeping them like a twisted tree this way, or separating them and maybe just putting your left knee up on something, or stacking them on top of the other. Or if you wanted this, it's the pillow or the block in between your legs. You can look over to your right side, the same direction as your knees, or no matter what your legs are doing, you can open up your arms, looking over your left hand or up to the ceiling or somewhere in between. Just looking at you. This is also an option, by the way, what I'm doing. If you wanted to sit up a little bit more, you can bend the right elbow and hold your head in your hand just like you would if you were at the beach. You all look great. Once you've found a place that's a sustainable position to be in for the next couple minutes, your knee high or low, your prop of choice, where you're placing your vision. Either close your eyes completely or just keep them soft and slightly open, looking down, letting everything melt into the floor and whatever else holds you. If you liked the visualization of breath, finding it again here, the cool air cycling in through the nose and throat, spiraling down through your twisted body, and the warm air like steam hissing out of you from bottom to top. Ten more breaths. Last three. And after your next exhale, blinking the eyes open, move from the weight of your pelvis, dropping down to the mat. Bend both knees, plant the right foot down and hug your left knee into your chest. Just compressing the left hip flexor for a moment and scooch your pelvis in the middle of the mat. Give it a nice long squeeze. And then extend both legs out into a V, both arms up over your head, taking this passive stretch through the entire body. One more breath. And return the arms down by your sides. Slowly bend both knees. Roll to your left side. Take this really slow, and you'll come up to seat, but take your time. Rolling onto your left and pressing yourself upright. And then turn sideways onto your mat, just as I am sideways, so that I have room, I have space to the right and left side. And sit up on something. If you have a blanket, fold a blanket directly under your pelvis that your pelvis can tilt forward. And we're going to come into butterfly, feet together, knees apart. A good rule of measure for how far apart your feet should be from you is at least a block's distance away. So if you do have a block, you can utilize it. Put it in between your pubic bone and your heels, and have your feet at least that far, but they can be farther. You just don't want to strain the groin by bringing the heels in too close. And then you're sitting on the very edge of the blanket so that you're able to tip forward more, so that as we fold forward any amount, you're already on your way. So whatever you'd like to have in front of you, whether it's just leaning forward onto your two hands or taking blocks under your two hands and just reaching on them. You can put blocks under your elbows, holding your head, or you can put your forearms on blocks and drop your head onto your forearms. Finally, if you do have a bolster, you can put the bolster out in front of you. I like to put the bolster up on a slight incline. So from the side, it's like this. I think that might be nice for you. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, who's pregnant, who's just a little bit more of on an incline. And then you can lean forward and drop your head down either straight or an ear to a side. And when we're halfway through, I'll let you know when to switch your head. Allie, can you sit up on something a little higher? Because there's just a bit of rounding in your back that isn't terrible. I just think it'll help you fold. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if that's, you might slide off that, tell me, or show me. Yeah, put the blanket on top of the pillows, exactly. And then rather than just dropping your head down and letting your whole back curve, try to start leaning forward with a long spine and see how far you go. Yeah, and then once you're there and comfortable, then completely relax into it. But that looks so much better in your back. It's okay to have some rounding, especially in the part of your spine that is rounded, in that middle back area, upper back area. That's okay. But you don't want a full curve and straining of the low back, which I think does that feel better, Allie? You all look good. Okay, good. And then, yeah, wherever you are, if your head is on something, really let the heaviness of it drop. Are you good there, Erin? Yeah, okay, good. And this is our first real symmetrical pose where the legs and the arms are both doing the same thing. If we don't count the first constructive rest. So just notice what's going on in both sides of your body. It's not so much to diagnose yourself, but maybe your right side feels heavier than your left, or you can feel your left knee dropping more than your right, or there's just a sensation in your upper right back that you're feeling. You might not even know how to name what's going on, but paying attention to yourself, to your two halves. Your yin side is your left side, your yang side is your right side. Seeing how the two meet in the middle here. And if you have one cheek down, switch so that you have the other cheek down. You can also, at this point, lower your head down onto something else. If you feel like it's heavy on the block it's at, you can drop the block down to a lower notch. Yeah, exactly, Diana. Just if it feels natural. And breaths. Last three. One more inhale. Exhale, take your time. Blink the eyes open, look forward, and walk your hands backwards to sit up. You can just kind of hold your ankles and sit tall. And then move whatever was in front of you off to the side. Close your knees like a book. Plant your feet to the ground, arms behind you, and windshield wiper the knees side to side. Just rocking. You can stay on the blanket that you're seated on. Yeah, so both knees go to one side, both knees go to the other, so that you're not really stretching the hips anymore. That's it. And then let the knees stay somewhat upright. And we're coming into Dragonfly. So the 3 people, just now you have space to have your legs out. Why do you want to put your pelvis back in the middle of your mat? So that both legs can go out, right leg to the right, left leg to the left. Yeah, figure out just how to, you know what is really fun? You can use each other as props if you're comfortable touching each other. You can kind of lean forward onto the person. If actually, I'll make it easier for you. We're going to go to the sides anyway. So we won't actually fold straight forward unless you want to play with that, but we're going to go to the right and left. So sitting up on your blanket, tip your pubic bone forward actively. And then before we turn to the right, grab something. If you have a bolster, I like to just put it right on top of the leg, like from the hip to the ankle or however far it goes. If you have blocks, put them inside of the leg, and you might use a combo. If you have nothing, that's fine. You're going to turn to the left, actually, with whatever's going on prop-wise on the right. Turn to the left, and then reach your right arm towards your right foot. Bend the right elbow and hold your head. Your left hand can be right at your left hip crease, pushing your left thigh bone down. And you're just turning to the left and getting this stretch in the right groin, maybe in the right hamstring, as well as a little bit of a side body stretch. Now, a couple of things you can do with your left hand. The other day I took a class and the instructor had us half bind the hand, but just enough to, hopefully you're comfortable with yourself in this way, to just slip it in the back of your pants. So my hand is down my pants in the back, but it's nice because then you don't have to hold anywhere. Like my arm is stuck where it is in this really lazy half bind. I'm not overstretching it, but I'm getting that stretch in the front of the shoulder, nice upper body in place to be. And the hand is just kind of on my butt. That's an option. Other option is to keep the hand on the thigh. Other option is to interlace the hands behind your head, holding the head in both hands and drawing the left elbow towards your right foot so you get a little bit even more of a stretch in your left side body. Starting here is really nice. If you're not on a bolster, your right arm is somewhere on the block or on something inside of the right leg. And if you want to drop your head down lower, you could also extend your right arm and drop your head somewhere on your right arm, but that might not be nice for everybody. It feels like a little too much on my neck, so I like to have my head in my hands, but I am doing the half bind. And then even though we're kind of somewhat upright here, close your eyes or look down. Keep the energy inward rather than looking out into your space, thinking about whatever else you've got next or reminiscing on past happenings of the day. Tune back in. Maybe there's a point of your body that is getting a really good sensation of stretch here. You can put your brain in that place to breathe from. All that entails is thinking about that area while you breathe. 10 breaths. Last 3. One more inhale. Exhale. Wherever your left arm is, to come out of it, bring your left hand back to your left thigh. Use your right hand to help your head come up. Push your left hand into your thigh, your right hand into your head, and come to sit up. And then we'll go right into the other side. So take a moment, move your props over to the left. Turn to your right. And then keep looking to the right, because ultimately we are twisting this direction as we lean over to the left. Reach your left hand over towards your foot. Bend the elbow, hold your head. Right hand comes to your right thigh. And you're on this other side. Both knees keep a little bent. Both feet, they turn and point in whatever direction that they naturally go. You're not trying to flex the toes actively or point them or turn them in or turn them out. They're just there anatomically where they lay. And then decide what you're going to do with your right hand. You can keep it pushing the thigh bone down into the floor as you turn. You can flip the palm around and half bind it. Just tuck it into your pants. You can reach it over your head or hold the head in both palms with the elbow drawing over there. All of this can be done with or without the bolster, with or without the block. Maybe your head is just resting easily on your bicep somewhere. And again, close your eyes without taking the energy outward, holding it in. Breathing into the 10 breaths. Last 3. After your 3rd exhale, blink the eyes open. Right hand roots your right thigh bone down. Left hand helps your head up. Push both hands down into the thigh and into your head to sit up. And then arms down by your sides just for a moment to sit tall. Move your prop off to the side there. Bend the knees, plant your feet. And then hands behind you. Let the knees go right and left. Both knees right, both knees left, side to side. Yeah. And the next time that your knees are to the left, or whichever direction the back of your mat is, turn your whole body to face the back of your mat and come to sit normally with your feet towards the back of your mat, and take your blanket to be under your pelvis for Caterpillar. So sitting up on something with your legs straight out in front of you. Now, Caterpillar is a forward fold like Paschimottanasana, but I like to set it up with a bunch of props. So if you know the way that you like to do it, you can go right into it and I'll offer you some options. Sitting on the blanket again, you sit there so that you're right on the edge and your pelvis is tipped forward rather than rounded and tucked there. And then if you have another blanket or something that you can roll to put under your knees, I like to put something under the knees there. If you don't have a second blanket, I'll show you that option in a moment. But so something under your pelvis, something under your knees, and then eventually something for your forehead. So that might be a tower of blocks. It can be 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks. It can be a bolster and blocks as you come forward, but whatever you would like for your head there. And then before we fold, I'll just show you the option without anything under for your knees. You bend your own knees a lot. You take your own arms under your knees, lean forward with a long spine rather than rounding. And your elbows act as the boundary for the bottoms of your knees so that your elbows come under. And then you kind of just clap your hands together and lean like this, or hold the block in your hands with your elbows under your knees and lower your head on the block. So that's an option if you don't have something for under your knees, or you don't even need to use them if you don't like something under your knees. But once you feel like your pelvis and knees are in a healthy place, you lead with, maybe it's lean, maybe right here, maybe elbows. Otherwise, if you want to use the props that you have, bolsters, blankets, pillows, blocks, go ahead into your Caterpillar. Giving your head something to rest on is really nice here. And the arms can again be where they land. If it feels nice to hold the feet, hold the feet. If it feels nice to hold the ankles, hold the ankles. If it feels nice to do nothing with the arms, do nothing. Again, just checking you all out. Looks nice. Erin, from here, we are going to do kind of like legs up the wall type of a thing. So if you want to do that now, since you're on your back, and just either put your feet up the wall exactly, or put your pelvis up on a block and do what you're doing, either way, since you're on your back, you might as well just enjoy it longer. Everyone else just stay in the Caterpillar for another 2 minutes. About another minute or so here. So if your head feels heavy on whatever prop you have and you want to try removing a block or lowering something down, only if it feels right. If it's creating strain, especially if it's creating strain on your knees, you don't have to do it. If it does feel right to come down a little bit more and you can have a healthy, deeper stretch, go for it. 5 breaths. One more inhale. Exhale. If for any reason this is like a dream for you and you don't want to get out of it and you want to take this as your shavasana, you can very well stay here. If you are ready, you can look forward and come to sit up, and then either take legs up the wall as shavasana or lie down on your back. You can keep what's under your knees. Take your time and just unfold yourself if you are unfolding onto your backs in shavasana, or if the wall's right there and you want to take a nice yin type of inversion with your legs up the wall, you can do that as well. Make yourself warm, make yourself comfortable, and then settle into stillness. These last few moments together. In, easy out. Yourself complete surrender. Slowly, from wherever you are, start to take deeper breaths. You can make small movements with your fingers and your toes, maybe with your head. If you were folded forward, start to look forward to sit up. If your back, knees, and your feet, if you've got legs up the wall, bend the knees so the feet can be at the wall. If you're seated already, you can stay. Otherwise, roll to your left side from the floor or from the wall. Finding fetal position here on the left, just letting your body weight balance here on your left side for a moment. And then use your right hand to push yourself up, and we'll all sit comfortably cross-legged, facing whatever direction you're in. Close your eyes. One hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Feeling whatever again is going on there, heart beating, belly breath. Open up and exhale your breath from where you're at completely out. Seal your lips at empty, hold it empty, and then one time together, inhale fully into your low belly, all the way up to the rib cage, all the way up to the bottom of your throat. Hold your breath so full and abundant of air. Quick sip. 2 more. Hold, retain, relax the face. Open up, exhale, and let it go. Bring your hands to touch at your third eye center, bowing down into your practice and into whatever it holds for you: gratitude, devotion, prayer,